Hello, my wonderful crypto army, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And I have a question for you guys today. Do you think the crypto market is going to pump within 24 hours? Let me know in the comments section down below. 24 hours. Is it going to do that? And also, let's do a little bit of a challenge. Let's see if this video can get to over 1,000 likes within that same time frame, 24 hours. That would be very cool. Having said that, the Bitcoin price right now is facing some resistance. We talked about this before though. We talked before about where the most important resistances would lie. Right now, the most critical resistance on the short term being $42,000. And we can clearly see that we yesterday did not make that, or at least did not close there. And right now today, if we actually close at this level, are going to have our third consecutive lower high. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to say that this is not necessarily a positive thing to see, but there's a couple of caveats to the claim, which basically revolve around the fact that we have a very interesting triangle going on where we just broke out from towards the upside, which was confirmed on a 1 day, 4 hour, 1 hour, whatnot. And that right now we're actually bouncing off of that resistance turn support. Even here over on the 1 hour, you can clearly see that we are bouncing off of that specific level, and we're doing a pretty good job at keeping up with the 40.7 or so $1,000 support. I guess it's a little bit below that, maybe like 40.5, but you can clearly see we've bounced off at this level a couple of hours in a row. Having said that, we remain biased towards the upside. I described it to you guys a couple of days ago on the 13th, the 15th, and I think even yesterday or the day before on the 16th. So let's cover some actual crypto news. All right, so first of all, James Fillon just shared something which I personally think is very interesting. Take a look at this. Library versus SEC. Jeremy Kaufman, XRP community XRP. Below is the scheduling order in the SEC v. Library case. Summary judgment motions due on May 4th, 2022. Trials scheduled to begin on September 8th, 2022. This is an important case to follow. So for all of you that do not know, the library case is very important for all the XRP holders because there's kind of like a close attachment that we have to one another. One of the most fun parts is that the case is already pretty old, already pretty stupid, and apparently the SEC also in that case wants to keep extending. Take a look. The SEC already asked for extensions beyond this and were denied. The library versus SEC case will likely be decided before the Ripple v. SEC case. Here's, for example, one tweet about why it's so important. This is why the Ripple XRP case and the Library LBC cases are important. If the SEC is successful, all cryptos are securities. ETH investors should pay close attention to both these cases. Based on the SEC's reasoning, if Library's coin is a security, then ETH is without question a security. Let's listen to this 1 minute little clip.
This is something, a funny thing that happened when the SEC compelled me to give testimony, is they're asking about, they're asking me things like, so library wasn't done yet. And it's like, I actually asked them questions back. It's like, well, is Gmail done? Does Gmail have more people developing it now than in beta? Is Bitcoin done being developed? Is Ethereum, but obviously, I'm a fan of all this, by the way, so I'm never trying to drag these companies too hard, but Ethereum, they need to do it 2.0. So that says something about their initial version. That if they needed to if they have all these scaling issues, that doesn't to me say that was a dumb technology. It's arguably has a lot of usability problems in its current iteration. Now I hope they solve all this, but that's not a technology that's done. I mean, these people have one of the things that I certainly continue to see in the interviews that they have borderline no understanding of technology. I mean, it's like seriously, like the amount of interaction I've had with them, they don't understand it at all.
And to be honest with you, that's kind of scary, but his point is very much right, which is a really difficult one to bring up. If I'm talking about just pure, basically, let's call it consensus mechanism here. For Ethereum, let's just talk about the proof of work, for example. You can definitely say that that's officially decentralized, or if we're talking about decision making, sure, it's all good. However, if we're talking about how far into the process are they of having a finished product, yeah, that I think is a different battle, but also a very difficult thing to answer because what really is a final product? It's just, we're talking states of anything really. And I would say that you can only kind of call something about the current or potentially the past, if that even exists. So about the future and where it's headed and what they're working towards, why would that matter? It's all about what is it now? Where is it now? And that it's going to have to develop. No, I don't think that should matter because nothing indeed is ever finished when it comes to technology, kind of. Now, library here said, here's the actual back and forth between Jeremy Kaufman and SEC on whether blockchain technology is done. And I don't even want to cover this kind of because it's like, you want to kind of look at it like this because it's so cringy. Well, why do you need to expand the productivity of library in 2018? Answer, do you think people worked for Gmail when it was in beta or today? More people. The question, I can use my logic and probably say that more people, that is actually a good question. Probably more people work on the Gmail team today than what when it was in beta, question mark. He says, so a similar thing here. It's kind of interesting how he has to say, I can use my logic and probably, that of course more people are working on it now with almost anything. It's actually really funny. Name a company. Are they smaller or bigger than they were at one point or another? Some will be smaller, yes, but for the majority of these things, if they're growing, if their plan is to continue on with their business, well, they're most likely gonna. You know, you guys understand what I mean. I'm gonna kind of explain myself in a stupid way here, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And they describe the root of the problem lies with this. So this is Mr. Vito. So Jeremy, I'm just trying to understand GitHub a little better because we're not engineers and we don't pretend to be. That's again a fun little thing because GitHub, if you don't understand it, well, then how could you potentially even ask so many questions about this? It's funny but also scary that they can't comprehend to the smallest this technology. And I really kind of feel guilty. No, feel sad for a judge that has to make a decision on something which is so difficult to comprehend and where the accusers most likely still don't really know what they're going after or why they're making such a choice. Even with Ripple versus SEC, there's so many base layer questions that have still not been properly answered or properly addressed or that are kind of unclear. One of them being, for example, the fact that is Ripple, or maybe I should say Ripple's XRP ever finished? Or is the XRP ledger finished? Define finished. We've had the same issue. And that's why I said this case is so important because it kind of tackles the same issues. Now, this is from already about a year ago, and they were already kind of shouting out that all these problems are there. It says teaching the SEC how block rewards and difficulty adjustments work, and they're not sending their best accurate. It's just about the fact that they really don't understand anything about blockchain technology. And again, if you really want to cringe, read through this for a little bit if you haven't done that before. I think we covered it, but it's been about a year or so I understand that you guys are kind of out the loop of all of this. Ooh, camera is stuck? No, I think we're good. Moving on, however, because you don't want to stay here forever. Consensus tweeted out, today Consensus, this is a little bit ago, announced the close of a $450 million round. So, of course, everybody was just straight up saying, JP Morgan is involved, JP Morgan is involved, they have a $7 billion valuation, this is not good, what does this mean? They are right now really excited about MetaMask, for example, the Web3, we all know it. And talking a little bit about all the partners that are involved in all of this, for example. But then where a lot of people were drawing some criticism is because of this tweet right here. All proceeds from the round will be converted to ETH to further build Consensus ultrasound money. Positions as a rebalance to rebalance its ETH to fiat ratio in line with Consensus treasury strategy. Let's just conclude it like this. People are really not that happy that Consensus is kind of working on ETH, working this closely with ETH, plus then the JP Morgan, plus then the MetaMask. Everything is kind of coming together now yet again after the whole question of developing was brought up at the library case. It's just this comparison is rather interesting. And even though I'm never going to kind of numb down on ETH and say it's bad or even that the connections are bad, it is an interesting one. Then, this is really funny to me, guys. Take a look. SEC Commissioner Allison Lee announces her departure. She could feel the massive loss incoming. SEC Commissioner Allison Lee announces her departure from the SEC. I just thought it was kind of fun. Now, officially, her term is up. It's not really crazy that she's like leaving because she really thinks it's good. We don't know, but it's just a little fun thing, I would say it's kind of fun to think about the fact that these guys are just going to quickly get out a couple of months before the lawsuit is over because otherwise you'd have a really big loss on your record. It's just something fun I think about. At the end of the day, we can never be sure. Nor does it really matter for us. Even if all the SEC members were to kind of quit, there'd be new people who'd be put into office that most likely still would commit to the SEC goal, so the case would still develop. It'd just be different lawyers that had the loss on their name. So is it going to matter for me? No, it's just something fun that I wanted to share. There's another article I should share about LBRY, or actually a little discussion. So digital asset investors said, I think LBRY is realizing there's no choice but to publicly fight back. Our government has turned on the people. None of us wanted to be in this position. We just wanted a future for our children, and we will fight for it if necessary. That is a reply to LBRY, who said, we're not trying to get anyone in trouble, but this is literally what we've been sued or being sued for by the SEC. Hard to not believe there is some corruption involved with Ethereum. Can state this openly in 2022 without penalty. Again, Jodney replying, I'm astonished that industry leaders haven't been more vocal about the LBRY case. Ripple is a major player and has deeper pockets to defend with. XP market cap is 37 billion. LBRY is about 20 million. I'd say there's a market and need, let's not read the rest of that just to be sure. And if you're wondering where this is all connecting, it's actually what I just told you guys about a second ago, which is the whole consensus ordeal. If you read it properly, you can see this right here. Consensus has long maintained a significant treasury of ETH stablecoins and other crypto tokens, and is actively using its own financial infrastructure such as MetaMask Institutional and Consensus Codify staking. Funding will also support the rapid expansion of MetaMask with a major redesign schedule for release in later 2022, as well as the rollout of a plug-in extensibility system that will allow integration with a wide variety of blockchain protocols and account security schemes. The story goes on a little bit, but you understand. And there was Joseph Lubin, who basically explained the situation about that. He's just saying, hey, I'm very excited about the raise, and hey, we're going to use all this money to put it back into ETH, aligned with our company-wide objective to embrace our crypto-native roots. Proceeds from the round will be converted to ETH to further build Consensus ultrasound money position as a rebalance to our ETH to fiat ratio line, or in line with our treasury strategy. We've long maintained a significant treasury of ETH, stablecoins, and other crypto tokens, and we are actively using our own financial infrastructure to put, you understand, right? You understand. So that is everything I wanted to share in this video. The only things I'm going to tell you guys is check out my Instagram at TheDustDBC, check out my Twitter at TheDustDBC. Let's give it a second, TheDustDBC, and check out TikTok. It is DustDBC over on there. You'll not be disappointed, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.